This video is not about you taking your money out the bank. This video is not about me trying to tell you anything to do with your funds. This video is to inform you of all the things that are happening right now with our banking institutions, brick and mortar. So if you want to know what's going on, who's closing, where they're closing, stay tuned and I'll tell you.
I really wanted to get it right, trying to find some balance in my life.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. How are you doing, cousins? And how are you doing to those who have not decided if they want to join the family or not? What are you waiting for? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. But I have 3 pages of closures that are going to affect many people. Things are truly not looking good in this area. I've talked about it before in a separate video, but there are more stores closing. There are more banks closing. Let's jump right into it. More brick and mortar banks are closing down, and also a store closure in the midst of all of this too. So we're going to start with the first one. It is Sally. Let me put my glasses on, y'all. Just one of them days. Okay, y'all. So Sally's Beauty is closing 350 stores starting December 2022. Sally's has been struggling this year. They've had consistent foot traffic over 100,000 throughout 2021. It dropped in May of 2022 and is declining as of August. They're only seeing 89,500 with the foot traffic. A Morgan Stanley analyst says much of it is due to inflation. It is geared towards low income who are being hard hit by this inflation that we are seeing right now. And more people are moving away from getting extra stuff and just sticking to the necessities. So now the company is doing what they are calling optimization. It is how they're going to handle what is happening, the crisis that's going on now, and how they're handling it is to close 350 of their stores. This is hopefully going to put them in a better spot in 2023. There are currently 3,439 stores globally, and they didn't disclose which locations, but they did say it would be their U.S. stores, not their global stores. But they're not just closing their stores, you guys. Listen, the company has already lost 110 stores over the last year, and several located in the U.S. Back in June, one shut down permanently in Macomb, Illinois, and another in Virginia. Over the last several quarters, they have been quietly closing stores. 2 of the company's facilities are getting the axe also. So they are closing 2 of their distribution centers in Oregon and Pennsylvania as well. This is not looking good. Let's move on to the banks and see what's going on there. So back in July, I gave you the story, and it's down in my description if you did not see it, where PNC Bank said that they were closing locations that were located inside of grocery stores. So Wells Fargo and Bank of America are closing over a dozen branches. In July, PNC also shuttered 135 of their locations inside grocery stores like Giant Food and ShopRite supermarkets in New Jersey, Maryland, Delaware, DC, and a handful within ShopRite stores in Pennsylvania. The article also goes on to state that traditional banks are not safe either. Traditional banks are not safe, and this is said by the FDIC. Data cited by CNBC. Roughly 8,000 banks were in operation in 2000, but 22 years later, just half of them are still surviving. Just a year or 2 ago, Bank of America and Wells Fargo were forced to close temporarily due to labor shortages and a surge in COVID-19 infections. But now they are shuttering stores permanently. When banks are closing branches, they are required to notify the U.S. Office of Comptroller of the currency 90 days or at least 90 days ahead of the closing. Closures are then documented in a weekly bulletin. And the latest bulletin was released on October 29th, and it showed this. Wells Fargo is closing 14 branches across the country. Individual locations will be shut down in Chicago, San Francisco, New Jersey, Jersey City, Denver, Richmond, Virginia, Chandler, Arizona, Surfside Beach, South Carolina, Minneapolis, Ponte Vedra, Florida, and I probably said that wrong. New York will also be closing 2 branches in New York City and in Manhasset. Texas will be losing 2 branches in Austin. Last year, Wells Fargo closed the most retail locations out of any other bank, shutting down 267 branches. So let's move on to Bank of America and see what they're doing. Bank of America has fewer closings on their docket, but they're shutting down a location in Darien, Connecticut, 2 locations in San Francisco, and a location in West Newton, Massachusetts. The Darien location will close on March 3rd, 2023, but no other dates were given for the other closings. And JP Morgan Chase Bank is closing 7 locations also in Michigan, New York, Texas, and California. Citizens Bank is reporting 4 closures, all in Pennsylvania. And First Financial Bank is closing several locations in Indiana, Tennessee, Kentucky, and Illinois. So I hope that this video is helpful for you to see that things are not getting back to any kind of normal. Yes, they like to say, well, we are past the COVID situation and era and lockdowns and all of that stuff, but companies are still struggling to stay afloat. And in order to do that, they're doing what is necessary, which is letting go of people, closing locations, but it is causing a lot of heartache, pain, and suffering for those families who just are trying to stay afloat themselves and feed their families and keep a roof over their head. So you guys, I don't even know if I can get to the store walkthrough in this video, but y'all take care, stay safe, keep stocking up, keep preparing. I love you, but God loves you more.